Welcome to Learn Commerce PU online classes. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.
Hello students, welcome to second PUC Accountancy online classes. Students, in the previous class we have solved first problem on cash flow statement. Today we are going to take up problem number 2, page number 137, page number 137 of your question bank, problem number 2. I will read out the problem. In the meantime, let us analyze and we will solve the problem. Okay. The following is the statement of profit and loss of Yamuna Limited. Statement of profit and loss of Yamuna Limited for the year ended is given, isn't it? Yes. Revenue from operations, expenses, cost of materials consumed, purchase of stock in trade, other expenses, total expenses, profit before tax was given. Then additional information is given, that is trade receivables decreased by rupees 30,000 during the year, prepaid expenses increased by rupees 5,000 during the year, trade payables increased by rupees 15,000 during the year, outstanding expense increased by rupees 3,000 during the year, and other expenses included depreciation of rupees 25,000. Compute net cash flow from operations for the year ended March 31st, 2018 by the indirect method, not direct method. So we have to calculate cash flow by using indirect method, isn't it? Only from operating activities. So let us solve the problem, cash flow from operating activities. Problem number 2, cash flow from operating activities. From operating activities. Operating activities. Operating activities, right? Yes. Let us move on. Let us start with, that is net profit before tax and extraordinary items. Draw the columns particulars and amount in rupees. Only two columns. One is particulars, second one is amount in rupees. Amount in rupees. Net profit before tax, net profit before tax, and extraordinary items. Extraordinary items, isn't it? How much it is? 1,50,000. 1,50,000. 1,50,000. Then I told you, normally if we add, then here you have to deduct, because we are going through the indirect method. Am I correct? So normally if we deduct, then we have to add here. That's what we have to do. By keeping that rule in mind, let us analyze this. Okay. Now refer the problem. Other expenses, right? Other expenses, that is a depreciation. Depreciation normally we used to deduct, isn't it? It's an expense. So here we have to add. We have to follow the reverse rule, because we are going through the indirect method. It is back to front, isn't it? So follow this. Add depreciation. It is given in the adjustment part. Refer. There is a depreciation Other expenses included depreciation of rupees 25,000. So add this 25,000, isn't it? Whatever you will get is nothing but operating profit before working capital changes. That is 1,75,000. 1,75,000. That is operating profit. Operating profit before working capital changes. Working capital changes. Changes. $1,75,000, right? Then refer addition information. Trade receivables decreased by rupees 30,000 during the year. So decrease in trade receivables means trade receivable being an asset. Decrease in the value of asset is a loss to the business. Am I correct? Decrease in the value of an asset is a loss to the business. So what we have to do is here, we have to, normally what we used to do, decrease in the value of an asset is minus. Am I correct? Is an expense, like an expense. So we have to add here because we have to follow the reverse rule, right? So add decrease in trade receivables. Decrease in trade receivables. Receivables, right? Yes. Decrease in trade receivables. That is how much? 30,000. Don't put bracket because bracket implies minus, negative figure, right? Second one is increase in trade payables. Trade payables increased by rupees 15,000 during the year, right? Trade payable increase means trade payable always will be liability. Increase in the value of a liability is a loss to the business, should be deducted. Am I correct? Increase in trade payable means increase in the value of a liability. So when the value of the liability increases is a loss to the business because the company will be liable to make good the payment, isn't it? It has to pay to the trade payables. Trade payable means I already told you, that is creditors plus bills payable. Creditors plus bills payable is trade payables. So here increase in the value of liability normally we used to deduct. Decrease in the value of liability is a profit and increase in the value of liability is a loss. So loss normally we used to deduct. So here we have to add, right? So add increase in trade payables. Increase in trade payables. How much it is? Refer the problem. Point C. Trade payables increased by rupees 15,000 during the year. No bracket. Write it straight away without using the brackets because it is a positive figure. Then refer problem for the interest. Now, increase in outstanding expenses is there. See, outstanding expenses increased by rupees 3,000 during the year. So, always expense is a loss to the business. Increase in the expense means normally we used to deduct. Am I correct? So, we have followed reverse rule here. So, we have to add this because increase in the value of an expense is a loss to the business. Is a loss to the business. So, you just add here. So, plus increase in outstanding expenses. What do you mean by outstanding expenses? Expenses due but not paid. We suppose I will give you an example. We took the service of someone, maybe an electrician, isn't it? Amount is not paid. That is expenses outstanding. Expenses pending to be payable. Isn't it? That is called outstanding expenses. So, increase in outstanding expenses outstanding expenses is also a plus item. So how much? 3000, right? Yes, it is 3000 right here. Don't use bracket here, positive figure. Then last one is increase in prepaid expenses. What do you mean by prepaid expenses? Expenses we are not supposed to pay. It is not due to pay, but we have paid in advance. I will give best example. Salary of the employee is paid in advance. Suppose now it is October month, isn't it? November month salary is paid in advance. Or we close the accounting year on 31st March. April month salary is paid in advance during March. So while accounting, you will take it as expenses paid in advance or prepaid expenses. When expenses are not due, but it is paid for the next month, isn't it, or next year, then it is called prepaid expenses, which is normally an asset. Normally an asset or profit to the organization, because we can get the services of the employees during next month without paying salary. Am I correct? So it is an asset. So it is plus, but here what do we have to do? We have to deduct it. Decrease. So here increase in prepaid expenses, right? Increase in prepaid expenses. Yes, it is. Increase in prepaid expenses. Write the amount in amount column, but by using bracket, because it is a negative figure. Remember friends, it is negative figure. So 5,000, that's all. Your problem gets solved with this. Now find out the difference. Find out the difference. 175 plus 30 plus 15 plus 3 minus 5. Minus 5. How much you will get? You will get 2,18,000. Is it? No, it's 2,38,000. Is that correct? 2,38,000. No, 2,18,000. Yes, it is 2,18,000. This is the actual amount, but in your question bank, amount is given as 2,38,000, but it is not correct. 2,18,000 is the correct answer. So right here against that, therefore, what did they tell? Compute net cash from operations. So therefore, net cash from operations. Net cash from operations. Net cash from operations or operating activities. So this is how you have to solve the problem. Clear? Yes. Now let us move on to the next problem. I'll take up problem number 3. Compute cash from operations from the following information. Profit for the year is given 2016-17, a sum of rupees 10,000 after providing for depreciation of rupees 2,000. That is profit after depreciation, isn't it? After charging depreciation, so depreciation is already deducted. So this is the amount of profit, that is for the year 2016-17 is a sum of rupees 10,000 after providing for depreciation of rupees 2,000. 2,000 depreciation is already charged, isn't it? That is what the meaning is. The current assets of the business for the year ended March 31st, 2016 and 17 are given. That is working capital, isn't it? Current assets, trade receivables, provision for doubtful debts, trade payables, inventories, other current assets, expenses payable, prepaid expenses, accrued income and income received in advance. What do you mean by accrued income? Accrued income means income supposed to be received. It is earned but not received. That is the meaning of accrued income. Income received in advance, we are not supposed to receive it, we are not eligible to receive it, but we have received in advance. Next year income is received in advance is a liability. Is a liability. Am I correct? Let us take up. Let's solve this problem now. Yes. Cash flow from operating activities. Nothing is mentioned which method to be followed, isn't it? So we are following indirect method. Whether it is mentioned? No. Cash flow from operating activities, isn't it? Operations from the following information. So we will follow indirect method only. Cash flow from operating activities. Write the heading. Cash flow from operating activities. Operating activities. Then draw two columns, particulars and amount in rupees. Particulars and amount in rupees. Net profit before tax and extraordinary items. Net profit before tax and extraordinary items. Ordinary items. Extraordinary items. How much? It is 10,000, right? 10,000. Now, depreciation is there, isn't it? Depreciation 2000 is already charged. After that, we got this amount as profit. So, we have to add back that depreciation to the profit. Am I correct? So, depreciation normally we deduct, but here, as we are following indirect method, we have to add. So, add depreciation. You just think about the statement of profit and loss, how it is written. In that way, we have to go back. That's all. From profit to the starting point, we have to go back. That's what we are doing here. Whatever is added, we will deduct. Whatever is deducted, we will add here. That's all. That's what we are doing here. So depreciation 2000. Add it together, 12,000. Correct? 12,000. This is operating profit before working capital changes. Operating profit before working capital changes. Working capital changes. 12,000, right? Yes. Now let us move on. Now we'll take up each and every item of that is current assets, isn't it? Trade receivables, last year's and current years both are given. So 14,000, 15,000 is an increase in trade receivables. So increase in trade receivables is an asset. Increase in the asset always plus, but here we have to deduct, isn't it? Minus. Here it is minus. So minus increase in trade receivables. Minus figure, write it within bracket, plus figure, write it as it is. So 1,000. Just compare 14 and 15, isn't it? 14,000, 15,000 last year and current year. There is an increase of 1,000 rupees. Provision for doubtful debts, isn't it? Provision for doubtful debts. There is also increase of rupees 200 rupees. Provision for doubtful debts, increase in provision for doubtful debts, PDD. So here also provision for doubtful debts is an there is expense, is an expense. When you deduct provision, then your asset balance, asset value will decrease. Am I correct? Is a loss to the business. So we used to deduct it. Here we have to add. We have to add. Increase in PDD, so it is plus, because PDD is an expense. When there is an increase in the expense, we used to deduct. Increase in the expense, we used to deduct, but here we have to add because we are following indirect method, right? How much it is? 200 rupees. 200. Then trade payables is a liability. There is an increase in trade payable, increase in liability is a loss, so minus, but here it is plus, correct? Increase in trade payables plus. Increase in trade payables, increase in trade payables plus, how much it is? 2,000 rupees. Am I correct? 13,000 increase to 15,000 means 2,000 rupees. Here we have to put this within bracket, increase in trade receivables, isn't it? Others are positive figures. Then inventory, what happened to inventory? It was 5, now it is 8, 3,000, isn't it? So increase in inventory, increase in inventory, is it plus or minus? Increase in inventory. Inventory means stock, asset. Increase in the value of asset always should be added, isn't it? It's a profit of the business. But here we have to deduct, friends, not plus, it is minus. Increase in inventory. Inventory, how much is increased? That is 3,000 rupees. 3,000 within bracket. 3,000. Move on to the next item, that is other current assets. Other current assets. Other current assets. What happened in other current assets? Increase, isn't it? Other current assets increased from 10,000 to 12,000. So 2,000 rupees increase in the value of asset is a profit, but here it should be minus. It should be minus. Increase in other current assets minus. Increased. How much it is? 2,000 rupees. No bracket or yes bracket? Yes, we have to put bracket because minus figure. Then expenses payable. Expenses outstanding is a loss to the business. It is a liability of the business. Expenses pending to be payable. Am I correct? So we used to deduct normally, but here we have to add. Increase in expenses payable, add. Expenses payable, how much it is? Increase in expenses payable 500, am I correct? 1,000 to 1,500 increase, right? So 500 rupees. So it is plus, no bracket. Then next one is prepaid expenses. Prepaid expenses, expenses paid in advance. Expenses which are not due but paid in advance, maybe for the next month or for the next year, correct? When we pay it in advance, expenses paid in advance, it becomes an asset. It becomes an asset of the business, so it is plus. Normally it is plus because it is a profit of the business. Now we have to deduct. Here we have to deduct. That is it increase or decrease? Prepaid expenses 2000 to 1000. Friends, it is decreased. Prepaid expenses decreased, so it should be plus. It should be plus, not minus. Remember, because prepaid expenses always is an asset, isn't it? Asset decreased means, what do you mean by asset value decreased? Is a loss to the business, correct? Loss always, normally we used to deduct. Now we have to add because this is indirect method. So plus decrease in prepaid expenses, decrease in prepaid expenses, prepaid expenses. How much it is? 1000. Is it correct? Yes, 1000. The next one is accrued income, right? Accrued income. Accrued income in the sense income due but not received. Income due but not received. Accrued income 3000 to 4000 increased. Increase in accrued income. So increase in accrued income is an asset. So increase, isn't it? Plus, but here we have to deduct. So increase in accrued income minus accrued income increased. So deduct it. How much it is? So 1000 within bracket. Put it within bracket, right? Yes. Done. Last one is income received in advance. Income received in advance. That is when we receive income in advance is there's a liability of the business, so it should be deducted normally. But here we have to add. Is it correct? Increased or decreased? Decreased. Income received in advance decreased. So liability decreased is a profit of the business. Normally we used to add, so here we have to deduct, correct? So income received in advance minus decrease in income received in advance. It is like a loan, your loan amount decreased. Don't you think it is a profit to you? Yes, it is. Decrease in income received in advance. Decrease in income received in advance. How much it is? 1000 again. 1000 within bracket. Within bracket. And that's all. Now 12,000 is the amount. To that add 200, 2000, 500 and 1000, and whatever total you will get, deduct these things that is which are there within brackets, isn't it? Deduct those items 1000, 3000, 2000, 1000, 1000. Deduct it and get the final balance. That itself is the cash from operations. You will get 7,700. 7,700. Right against that, therefore cash flow from operating activities. Therefore cash flow from operating activities. That's all. It's done. Your problem is solved. Okay. Now take down assignment. Solve the second problem, this one, whatever I have solved. Solve this problem and submit the assignment on time. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you.
Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.